Hi everyone, I'm Mari Mancusi and I am the author of 21 books for adults and teens, including the Scorched series, which I wanted to talk about today. It's been such an awesome adventure to have done the Scorched series. It started out over 3 years ago now with the first book, which was of course Scorched, and then last year we had Shattered, and this year we have the conclusion of the trilogy, Smoked. I have the books here under my little dragon. I got this dragon actually at Dragon Con in Atlanta, one of the cons that I go to all the time every year. It's so much fun, and this dragon is like from a vendor that's there every year, and I have a couple of them, and they're super cute. They actually can go on your wrist. See? He can be my little buddy. All right, anyway, so we're talking about Scorched, which was the first one. And one of the things about the series is everyone loves the covers, and I love the covers too. I think they are so beautiful and so cool. I mean, there's so much going on in this cover. There's so many covers now, and no offense to them, but they're just like a symbol or whatever. And I love that this is actually artwork. You know, like this book is artwork, especially underneath the spine. You have the dragon. I've done other videos about this, how you can actually pet her. She is like touch and feel. I think I've sold books just because of that feature. Like people are like, I don't even know what this book is about, but like you can pet a dragon on the cover. So like how bad could it be? And hopefully like when they actually read the book, they realize that it's something they'd want to read. Anyway, so that was Scorched, and then Shattered, which also had a touchy-feely cover. I really like the Shattered cover. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of action. I like the lens flare on the side. I think that J.J. Abrams would really love this cover. And hey, J.J., if you're done with Star Wars at any point and you want to do a Scorched movie, so down with that. Anyway, and that also had the awesome hidden dragon underneath that you can pet, so super cool. The third book in the series, of course, is Smoked, and this just came out in September. I was a little sad the publisher didn't do a fancy under the cover thing, but they did print the cover right on the book, so there's no dust jacket. And if you're like me and hate dust jackets as a rule, then this is kind of a cool option. Anyway, for those of you who are new to the Scorched series, maybe you've read some of my other books, maybe you stumbled upon this video by mistake, let me tell you a little bit about the Scorched series and how it kind of came to pass. The first thing I wanted to tell you is that I love time travel in it. And if you've read any of my books, you know that quite a few of them have a time travel element to them. But most of them are basically going back in time. So my very first book, Connecticut Fashionista in King Arthur's Court, we went back to Arthurian time. One of the Blood Coven books had a time travel element where they go back to the beginning of the series to try to redo what they had done the first time around and maybe do it better this time. So anyway, time travel really interests me. I think one of the reasons that it does is because I like the idea of is our destiny predestined? You know, like if we make choices, are they always going to end up on this one path and it doesn't matter, we're always going to come back? So like you may change the ripples of time, but you can't change the tsunami of destiny that's going. Or are your decisions that you make now actually going to change the future? So if you decide to go through that door or not go through that door, is that going to change the entire universe? Who knows, right? And I love to play with that, and I love to look at those kind of elements. So one of the movies that does that really well is Terminator, and that's why I kind of call the series Terminator, but with dragons. So in Terminator, they send Kyle Reese back in time to save John Connor's mother and hopefully turn the tide of the war against the machines. Now in this, in Scorched, it's a little different because of course it's about dragons. So in the future there's a dragon apocalypse. They have decimated the surface of the world. Mankind is living underground. It's really, really bad for them. So government's like, we got to do something about this. So they send back in time Connor. Connor is a dragon hunter, and he's very accomplished, very famous, and he is supposed to go back in time to our time where this one egg has been unearthed from a melting glacier. And I kind of like the global warming aspect of this, like, you know, what is under those glaciers that are melting and how is that going to impact our future? So there's this one egg that's been unearthed from a glacier, and he believes if he destroys this one dragon egg, then he can actually save the world. Now, unbeknownst to Connor and the government, what's going to happen is this rival organization, the Draken, they also are going to send someone back in time. In fact, they're going to send back in time Caleb, who is Connor's twin brother, identical twin brother. And they believe that, well, the first time around, we kind of didn't do very right by dragons. We treated them as weapons. We experimented on them. We abused them. Of course, they're going to rise up against us, if we did that. But what if we treat dragons right this time around? What if we respect them and ally with them? Could they actually help save our world? So they're sending Caleb back with also good intentions. No one's the bad guy here. And they say, you save the egg and you're going to be able to save the future. So Trinity, our girl on the cover, she is a normal everyday Texan girl. She lives in a small town. She's fighting to help her grandfather and his failing museum stay alive and not go bankrupt. And his grandpa brings home this egg on Christmas Eve. And he says, this is the world's last dragon egg. And of course she's like, yeah, right, Grandpa. Of course, like, what would you say if someone told you it was the world's last dragon egg? You'd be like, yeah, right. So, and Grandpa kind of has a reputation for this too. He's always bringing home this stuff that turns out not to be real. Except this one, of course, turns out to be real. And Trinity suddenly hears the egg whispering to her, actually the dragon inside the egg, and begging her to save it. And these two boys are telling her opposite things. One says, if you don't destroy this egg, you're going to be responsible for the apocalypse. And the other one says, if you do destroy this egg, if you kill this dragon inside, you're going to doom mankind. And now the government is after them, and the egg is about to hatch, and she has to figure out which brother to believe in order to prevent the dragon apocalypse and hopefully save the world. So that's kind of how the story starts out, and it's not too much of a spoiler to tell you that the dragon hatches, because it wouldn't be much of a story if she destroyed the egg and saved the world in the end. So it goes on, and Emmy, or Emberlyn, is the dragon, and these dragons are sort of, a lot of people compare it to like Aragon in the sense that they can bond with humans. And so this dragon, Emberlyn, or Emmy for short, is bonded to Trinity, and they share the special bond, which has been tested quite a few times in the books. So Shattered is where it continues. We meet a new girl named Scarlet in Shattered, and then Smoked is the conclusion to the series. And it was really kind of tough writing the conclusion. I was very afraid ending it because I wanted to give it a good ending. Did you ever read a book where it's like it just ends and you're like, well, what happens next? And it's not answered. I didn't want to do that. And I could have wrote these stories forever. I could have kept going, but that wasn't practical. It was going to be a trilogy. It was sold as a trilogy originally, so I had to respect that. And so I basically ended it. And I was really nervous, but so far most people have been really, really supportive and excited about the ending and thought the ending was exactly how they wanted it, if not expected. So I was extremely thrilled about that. Of course, that always, no matter how permanent the ending seems, there's always going to be that person or those people who are like, isn't there another book? Please, please. And I love that. Thank you. It means the world to me when I get emails and messages saying, like, can we have another book? But sadly, there is no other book. It is a trilogy. It was always meant to be a trilogy, and so it is over. Now, that said, I would love to do a spinoff. And I don't know if I'll be able to or not. It's not always up to me. But if there's any way that I could, I totally would. And I think I would set it in the future in Connor and Caleb's world. I would want to do something about the apocalypse like we did the modern day. And that was fun too, having dragons in our modern day world. Some people ask me why I never did like the medieval dragons or a fantasy kingdom dragon. And I was like, well, that's been done before and I love it. But I wanted to see what would happen if dragons were in our world. Like, for example, if you saw a dragon outside this window here, would you run? A. Or would you would you YouTube that first, right? I would totally YouTube that. Yeah, I would. And then like on Fox News, would they be debating like dragons? Would dragons, are they a terrorist attack? Are they a biological mutation? Has the government created them? Are they a hoax? Are they something from Hollywood? Like, what is it? And they would have people debating all day about what the dragons were. So that was why I like to do it in present day. But I do think a dragon future story would be really cool. There was a movie that I kind of based some of Scorched on called Reign of Fire. it was like with Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey, and it was in a dragon future. And it wasn't like as good of a movie as I thought it could be. It was pretty cool, but I thought it could be better, and I would love to do a story that is set in a dragon apocalypse. And maybe I would even do it like from the point of view of two people, you know, like one who's a dragon hunter and one from the dragon point of view, you know, because I imagine in the future, you know, the dragons have taken over the world, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're evil and bad. They're destroying humans, but they're also trying to find food and, you know, survive in a decimated world. And so I think it would be interesting to see it from those two perspectives. So anyway, that's my long rambling video talking about Scorched and its future, if there is one. I hope you have read all 3 books. If you haven't, please do, because you want to get the complete story. And I really appreciate you listening to my video. I'm going to try to do more YouTube videos. I'm super lazy, and sometimes it's easier just to post a Facebook update or whatever. But I do like talking to readers. So if you have any questions about the series that I didn't answer in this video, post it in the comments, and I will answer it in the next video, or I'll just reply to you. So yay! Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye!